Vegeta and Rosie stared each other down. Vegeta told her to stop playing around. Rosie smiled and admitted that Universe 7 truly had some of the strongest fighters. They both charged forward and began to fight for real. Elsewhere, Toppo told Jiren to stay put. He announced that he and Dispo were going to handle the robots. Jiren told him to do whatever he wanted. Dispo laughed and said it was going to be fun. The two Pride troopers rushed off to fight the mechanical warriors. Caulifla shouted at the old man and challenged Goku to a fight. Goku was caught off guard. Caulifla threw a massive flurry of punches, but Goku managed to block them. Goku tried to fall back to gain some distance. Caulifla told him not to run away and pressed her attack. She threw another heavy punch, but missed. Goku found an opening and landed a solid strike. He noted that she definitely had a lot of pent-up anger. Caulifla loudly denied the accusation. The two Saiyans clashed violently, all over the arena. The battle was incredibly even. Caulifla finally managed to land a clean hit on Goku. She told him he needed to use another Super Saiyan form if he wanted to keep up. Goku calmly stated that it would not be necessary, because he knew exactly what to do. Caulifla told him to get ready. She began to charge her energy and let out a massive scream. A burst of power surrounded her as she transformed into a Super Saiyan 3. Caulifla mocked Goku and asked if he was being a coward. Goku told her to stop making fun of him. He let out a loud shout and charged forward. He tried to strike her, but Caulifla easily dodged his attack. Goku was surprised by her speed. They continued their intense battle. Goku eventually landed a powerful blow that forced both of them back into their Super Saiyan 2 forms. Goku asked her how it felt to use Super Saiyan 3. Caulifla admitted it was a very impressive feeling. Goku suggested they stop holding back and use their full power. He screamed and powered up. Caulifla gladly accepted the challenge and unleashed her energy. Goku transformed into Super Saiyan Blue, while Caulifla tapped into her Super Saiyan 4 form. Caulifla asked the old man what he thought of her new transformation. Goku admitted it looked incredible and felt like a completely different kind of Super Saiyan. Caulifla unleashed a barrage of energy blasts. Goku smoothly evaded the attacks. They charged at each other and exchanged a rapid series of punches. Both fighters landed a heavy blow on each other's faces. Goku ultimately gained the upper hand and defeated Caulifla. Goku reminded her that this tournament was different. He explained that Xeno was not going to erase her universe if they lost. He suggested they team up for now and promised to fight to the bitter end once the tournament was over. Caulifla thought about it and agreed to his terms. They both powered down to their base forms. Meanwhile, Vegeta was busy fighting Toppo. Vegeta noted that Toppo had grown much stronger. He guessed that Toppo might already be a god of destruction, just as he was trying to master that same divine power. Toppo explained that he only needed a little more training to fully claim the title. Vegeta did not care, and delivered a brutal punch that sent Toppo flying away. Vegeta quickly moved on and eliminated another random fighter. He realized the tournament was shifting, and decided to go find Kakarot. Paparoni began to laugh maniacally. Vegeta noticed the annoying insect and wondered what was so funny. Goku warned Vegeta that the robotic fighters were about to form Aniliza. Paparoni swore they would make everyone suffer the same humiliation they experienced last time. He declared that Aniliza was stronger than ever. The warriors of Universe 3 began to merge together. A massive creature began to take shape. The gigantic Aniliza completely materialized on the battlefield. Rosie gasped and admitted she never expected the monster to be so massive. Vegeta was confused and asked why she did not remember Aniliza from the last tournament. Goku explained that the giant monster appeared after Universe 2, and Universe 6 had already been eliminated. Caulifla yelled that it did not matter, and told them to just fight the huge beast. Aniliza launched a devastating attack against everyone in the area. The fighters scrambled to dodge the massive energy waves. Goku shouted at Android 17 and Kakunsa to team up against the monster. 17 sighed and complained that he really did not want to work with her, but had no other choice. 17 and Kakunsa launched a combined assault. Aniliza ignored them, and continued to cause massive destruction across the arena. Saonal recognized the terrifying giant. Pilina warned his partner that they needed to be very careful. Gohan formulated a plan, and suggested they all attack at the exact same time. Gohan rushed forward to lead the charge. Piccolo yelled out that he would back him up. Suddenly, Aniliza reached down and grabbed Piccolo in its massive hand. Gohan screamed for his master. The giant monster tossed Piccolo high into the air. Piccolo closed his eyes and called upon the power of Shenron. He wanted to show all the universes the true strength of a Universe 7 Namekian. A glowing Namekian symbol appeared on his back. Piccolo unleashed a massive roar and transformed into Orange Piccolo. Everyone in the arena stopped and stared in absolute shock. Kakunsa was completely baffled by the orange color, and wondered if he always had that transformation. Gohan explained that it was a very long story but told her to watch what his master could do. Piccolo suddenly grew to a gigantic size, and effortlessly caught an incoming punch from Aniliza. Android 17 saw the opening and ordered everyone to attack. All the fighters launched their best strikes. Kale watched in awe and realized Piccolo was much stronger than the Namekians from her own universe. Caulifla completely agreed. Bergamo admitted he never thought the weak green man could achieve such overwhelming power. Basil noted that they really could not afford to underestimate Universe 7. Lavender nodded in agreement. Aniliza managed to break free and tried to crush Caulifla. Caulifla froze in fear. Goku suddenly appeared and pulled her out of the way just in time. He asked if she was alright. Caulifla quietly thanked the old man for saving her life. Gamma 1 fired his blasters at the beast. The combined forces of the fighters struck Aniliza simultaneously. Broly opened his mouth and fired a devastating beam of green energy. The combined attacks severely wounded the giant monster. Piccolo seized the perfect opportunity and delivered a crushing blow to Aniliza. Beerus screamed from the stands and ordered his Namekian to eliminate the beast immediately. Orange Piccolo stated it would be an honor. He grabbed the massive monster and hurled it completely off the fighting stage. Piccolo looked at his hands and thanked Shenron for giving him so much incredible power. Zeno checked his tablet and announced that Universe 3 was officially eliminated. He cheerfully added that they were lucky they were not going to be erased. Gohan pointed out that the weakest fighters were gone, and only the true heavyweights remained. Goku looked across the arena and locked eyes with Jiren. He told the Pride Trooper it was finally time to settle their score. Orange Piccolo suddenly told Goku to wait. He pointed out that one of their allies needed help. Sorrel was lying on the ground badly injured. She looked up at Gohan and told him the rest of the tournament depended on him and his friends. She then lost consciousness and passed out. Gohan stared at his fallen friend in pure shock. Jiren watched the scene without emotion. The sight of his injured friend caused Gohan to explode with unimaginable rage. He let out a deafening scream that shook the entire world of Void. A massive pillar of energy erupted around him. When the light faded, Gohan had transformed into his ultimate beast form. Gohan whispered the name of Sorrel as his aura flared wildly. The gods of Universe 9 were completely stunned. The gods of Universe 2 and Universe 11 watched in sheer terror. Kus asked if this was the fabled beast of Universe 7. Goku turned to Vegeta and said it was time to show everyone something they had never seen before. Vegeta groaned and muttered how much he hated Goku. They took their stances and performed the fusion dance perfectly. A blinding light consumed them. When it faded, Gogeta stood proudly in their place. Gogeta smirked and asked if the other universes were impressed by this different type of fusion. Caulifla scoffed and stated they did not need to do a ridiculous dance to fuse. She and Kale quickly put on their pottery earrings. They slammed together and fused into Kefla. Kefla stretched her arms and declared it felt amazing to be fused again. Jampa yelled that they would need more than that to impress him. Suddenly, Broly powered up to his max power state, while Cumber transformed into a Super Saiyan 3. The massive surge of Saiyan energy terrified Jampa. Zeno cheered in pure excitement and praised Universe 7 for evolving so much. Future Zeno agreed completely. Jiren stepped forward and acknowledged their massive growth. He challenged all of them to come at him. The entire group charged directly at Jiren. Toppo and Dispo 17 and Kakunsa teamed up to launch a barrage of energy. Toppo and Dispo fired back with their own blasts. Gogeta effortlessly dodged the incoming attacks. Broly charged through the smoke and delivered a devastating blow to Dispo. The speedster was instantly eliminated from the tournament. Kefla laughed and mocked the Pride Troopers for thinking they were the best. Gohan rushed in and kicked Toppo with incredible force. Toppo was sent flying, but managed to recover midair. He admitted that Universe 7 was far stronger than before. Rosie cheered for Universe 7 and called them the most powerful universe. Gogeta smirked and thanked her for the high praise. Gogeta launched a fierce assault on Jiren. Jiren tried his best to block the heavy strikes. Zeno noted that Gogeta was much stronger than he expected. Future Zeno explained that it made perfect sense since it was the combined power of Goku and Vegeta. Gogeta warned Jiren that this fight would be completely different. He proudly declared his identity as the fusion of Goku and Vegeta. Jiren scoffed at the concept of fusion. Piccolo engaged Toppo in heavy combat. 17 provided cover fire and blasted Toppo with energy waves. Android 18 cheered for her brother from the stands. Ro reluctantly admitted that Universe 7 had basically guaranteed their victory at this point. Jiren fired a volley of energy blasts at Gogeta. Gogeta easily deflected them all. He yelled at Caulifla and Kale to stop standing around and actually do something. Kefla yelled back that she was just getting started. She began to charge her immense power and marveled at her own strength. Kakunsa called out to Gogeta and told him to attack from the left. Gogeta and Kakunsa synchronized their movements and managed to land a solid hit on Jiren. Gogeta then ordered Cumber to go after Toppo. The Dark Saiyan charged at the Pride Trooper and delivered a brutal punch. Toppo was badly wounded by the heavy strike. Gamma 1 seized the opening and moved in to deliver the final blow. Toppo fell to his knees. He muttered that he no longer needed justice. He declared that the only thing that mattered was winning, and stated he had finally made his decision. Gogeta and Jiren paused their fight to watch. Jiren asked his friend if he had truly made his choice. Toppo unleashed a terrifying roar. A dark purple aura exploded around his body as he transformed into a god of destruction. Rosie gasped in horror and asked what he had become. Gogeta explained that Toppo had cast aside everything he believed in just to obtain the raw power of a destroyer. Rosie was completely shocked. Kakunsa told Gogeta not to worry and claimed she could handle him. She threw a magical heart projectile at Toppo. The attack instantly disintegrated upon touching his purple aura. Kakunsa gasped in utter disbelief. Gogeta explained that his body was cloaked in destruction energy which erased standard attacks on contact. Seonal and Pilina decided it was best to leave this fight to the heavy hitters. Bergamo agreed and said all they could do was offer support from the sidelines. The remaining fighters rallied together to face Jiren and Toppo. Rosie whimpered and hoped the nightmare would end soon. Gogeta decided it was time to get serious. He powered up and transformed into a Super Saiyan. Gohan stepped forward and challenged Toppo. He told the destroyer he was no longer the weak boy from the past. Gohan charged at Toppo. Toppo tried to strike him but Gohan countered beautifully before creating some distance. Gohan noted that Toppo was much more dangerous now. Toppo turned his attention to Broly. The two massive warriors clashed. Toppo swore he was going to destroy Broly, and then the android 17 casually remarked that he did not like being destroyed. Broly unleashed a savage punch that rocked Toppo. Kakunsa offered to help the legendary Super Saiyan. They launched a coordinated double attack. Gogeta mocked Toppo and asked if he really thought he could survive an attack from the legendary Super Saiyan. He told Toppo to give up. Toppo refused to surrender. Orange Piccolo yelled that the man simply refused to learn his lesson. Piccolo rushed in and landed a heavy blow. Cumber followed up with another brutal strike that forced Toppo backward. Kefla complained that they were taking all the fun. She transformed into a Super Saiyan and rushed into the fray. She landed a solid hit on Toppo. Gogeta decided to end things. He transformed into Super Saiyan Blue and charged at Jiren. Toppo refused to accept defeat. He began to gather a massive sphere of purple destruction energy. He declared this would be their end, and fired a massive Hawkeye blast. Gogeta yelled at his team to take out the bearded old man. Broly fired a massive energy cannon from his mouth. Kefla unleashed a spiraling beam of green energy, and screamed that she was going to win. Gohan put 2 fingers to his forehead and fired a devastating special beam cannon. Rosie declared she would help even if she lacked power, and fired her own massive blast. Android 17 joined the combined assault with a super electric strike. The massive combination of ultimate attacks collided with the Hawkeye. The sheer force of the combined beam completely overpowered the destruction energy and shattered it. Toppo gasped in pure disbelief. The blast consumed him and threw him completely out of the arena. Jiren looked down at his fallen comrade. He called Toppo pathetic and said he expected much more from him. Gogeta mocked Toppo and asked how it felt to lose again. Toppo hung his head in absolute shame. Kefla pointed at Jiren and announced he was the only one left. Orange Piccolo warned everyone to be ready. The fighters took their combat stances. Gogeta told Jiren it was over and demanded he surrender. Rosie proudly stated that they were all stronger now thanks to Universe 7. Jiren began to panic. He muttered that it was impossible and refused to accept that he could lose. He glared at Gogeta and blamed him for everything. Jiren exploded with uncontrollable rage. He let out a deafening scream and began to transform. Gogeta braced himself against the massive shockwave of energy. Piccolo and Gohan watched in sheer amazement. Belmid smiled and noted that Jiren was unleashing even more power than he had in the past. Jiren pushed his limits and transformed into his max power state. The entire arena shook violently. Kus nervously noted that Jiren had lost his temper again. Jiren stood surrounded by a blazing aura of intense heat. Gogeta praised Jiren for improving so much. Gogeta then turned to Rosie. He ordered her to stay back and help the others. He warned her to only use ranged attacks and never get close, or she would be killed. Rosie agreed and told him to be careful before running to join the rest of the team. Jiren launched himself at Gogeta. The two titans collided and unleashed a blinding flurry of punches. Granola watched from the stands and marveled at the terrifying power of the fusion and the warrior of Universe 11. The battle raged on at incredible speeds. Jiren threw a massive punch, but Gogeta easily blocked it. Jiren screamed that he refused to be humiliated by a ridiculous dance routine. He concentrated his energy into his fist and punched Gogeta away. Jiren fired a massive blast of energy. Gogeta dodged it at the last second. Jiren followed up with a rapid barrage of energy blasts. Gogeta swatted them away. Jiren gathered his strength and fired an absolutely massive wave of energy. Gogeta cupped his hands and charged a Kamehameha. He fired the blue beam directly into the attack of Jiren. The two attacks clashed in a fierce struggle for dominance. Jiren pushed harder to overwhelm the fusion. Gogeta immediately activated the Kaioken. The red aura flared wildly and gave Gogeta the advantage he needed. He completely countered the attack of Jiren. Gogeta then pushed even further and tapped into the blue evolution form. He vanished and reappeared right in front of Jiren. Jiren gasped in shock. Jiren barely managed to dodge the incoming strike. The two warriors traded heavy blows that shook the realm. Jiren demanded to know how Goku was still able to fight at this level. Gogeta proudly declared that he was neither Goku nor Vegeta, but the one who would defeat him. Gogeta delivered a spinning kick. Jiren tried to counter, but Gogeta briefly tapped into Ultra Instinct to effortlessly dodge the blow. Gogeta fired a point-blank energy blast. Jiren blocked it and deflected it back. Gogeta easily evaded his own deflected attack. Gogeta told Jiren that no matter what he did he could never win. Jiren yelled that Gogeta could not prove that. Gogeta decided to prove it right then and there. He instantly charged his energy and rushed at Jiren. Jiren threw a desperate punch, but Gogeta dodged it with ease. Gogeta demanded that Jiren finally admit Universe 7 was the strongest. Jiren grew furious at the insult. They engaged in another brutal exchange of blows. Jiren finally managed to land a solid hit on Gogeta. Gogeta recovered instantly. Jiren tried to press the attack, but Gogeta dodged gracefully. Gogeta channeled his divine ki and struck Jiren with devastating force. Jiren crashed into a large pile of rubble. Jiren refused to stay down and unleashed a wild storm of energy blasts. Gogeta sprinted through the explosions and dodged every single blast. Zeno cheered and praised the incredible skills of Gogeta. Future Zeno excitedly agreed. Gogeta closed the distance and punched Jiren so hard he crashed through another boulder. Jiren screamed that the fight was not over yet. Suddenly a stray energy blast struck Jiren in the back. Jiren spun around in confusion. He saw Rosie firing energy blasts at him from a distance. Jiren completely snapped. He screamed that he refused to be humiliated by weaklings. He turned his attention away from Gogeta and fired a massive lethal blast directly at Rosie. Gogeta screamed her name in panic. Kakunsa cried out for her friend. Gogeta moved faster than light and managed to deflect the deadly attack just in time. The blast exploded harmlessly in the distance. The gods of Universe 2 gasped in absolute shock. Rosie collapsed to her knees and thanked Gogeta for saving her life. Gogeta clicked his tongue in pure annoyance and glared at Jiren. Jiren defended his actions and blamed Gogeta for forcing the weak girl to attack him. Gogeta clenched his fists in absolute fury. He admitted it was a mistake to let her get involved. However, he softly stated that he would never forgive anyone who dared to attack his friend from another universe. Gogeta unleashed a primal roar and powered up 2 Super Saiyan Blue full power. He declared he would never forgive Jiren and charged forward with all his might. Jiren took a devastating blow directly to the chest. Gogeta swung again, but Jiren barely dodged. Jiren pushed his power to the absolute breaking point. Gogeta attacked relentlessly. Jiren fired desperate blasts of energy. Gogeta evaded every single one. They fought across the sky and eventually crashed back down to the ruined arena floor. Kefla screamed at the old man to finish Jiren off. Gogeta rushed forward for the final clash. Jiren fired a heat blast from his eyes, but Gogeta dodged it easily. Jiren threw one last desperate punch. Gogeta parried the strike and delivered a crushing uppercut directly to the jaw of Jiren. Gogeta poured all his remaining energy into a final devastating blast. Jiren screamed in absolute agony as the massive beam consumed him. The blast launched Jiren completely out of the arena. Gogeta stood victorious and smirked. He fired a small blast of energy into the air in celebration. Jiren materialized in the stands next to his defeated team. Jiren quietly noted that Goku and Vegeta always managed to surpass their limits. Rosie cheered wildly and congratulated Gogeta on his amazing victory. She sprinted across the arena toward the fused warrior. Gogeta sighed and muttered that he knew exactly what was about to happen. Rosie leaped into the air and wrapped Gogeta in a massive hug. Gogeta just stood there and accepted his fate. The Grand Priest floated down to the center of the arena. He announced that although fighters from other universes were still present on the battlefield, the rules stated that the universe with the most surviving members would be declared the winner. He raised his hand toward Gogeta and officially declared Universe 7 as the grand champions of the second tournament of power. Gogeta chuckled softly as the remaining fighters powered down to their base forms. Piccolo walked over to Gohan and reminded him that Goku and Vegeta would always be there to save the day if they ever failed. Gohan smiled and agreed with his master. All the eliminated fighters were teleported back down to the arena floor. Everyone gathered around Gogeta. A bright light enveloped Gogeta as the fusion wore off, leaving Goku and Vegeta in his place. Ganis walked over and admitted the fusion technique was truly amazing. Goku rubbed the back of his head and thanked him. Bergamo admitted he never thought such a ridiculous dance could produce such unimaginable power. Basil completely agreed. Broly watched the interactions with a quiet smile. Nearby, the potter of fusion wore off, and Kefla split back into Caulifla and Kale. Kale shyly thanked Broly for his help during the chaotic battle. Broly nodded and told her it was no problem. Rosie walked up to Goku and Vegeta. She asked why they never used the fusion dance during the first tournament. Kakunsa added that it would have been very useful before Goku managed to unlock Ultra Instinct. Goku started to explain, but Vegeta angrily interrupted him. Vegeta yelled out 2 reasons. The first was that they did not know how to do the dance back then. The second, and most important reason, was that he absolutely refused to fuse with the idiot Kakarot. Rosie blinked in pure confusion. Goku teased Vegeta and pointed out that he eventually agreed to do it 10 years ago to defeat Broly. Vegeta angrily yelled at Goku to shut up. The Grand Priest silenced the crowd. He praised Goku and Vegeta for an excellent performance and congratulated Universe 7. Since Goku was the one who originally suggested the new rules, he was granted the honor of making the wish on the Super Dragon Balls. Everyone cheered loudly. The Grand Priest summoned Super Shenron. The golden dragon of the gods appeared and dwarfed the entire galaxy. Present Zeno told Goku he could wish for absolutely anything. Future Zeno promised the dragon would grant it. The Grand Priest asked Goku what his heart desired. Goku looked around at all the fighters from the different universes. He noted that the other universes had fallen behind in terms of raw power while Universe 7 continued to grow stronger. He turned back to the Grand Priest with a serious look on his face. He announced his wish. He wished for every single fighter in all the universes to gain the potential to reach Ultra Instinct. He explained that they needed to be ready when a threat far greater than Goku Black Kill Man or Geno eventually appeared. He wanted to show the true power of their united multiverse. He added that they could consider it a token of gratitude for Android 17 saving them all in the previous tournament. Beerus and Jampa screamed in absolute terror. The rest of the gods and mortals gasped in sheer shock. The Grand Priest smiled and agreed that it was a very noble wish. He turned to the massive dragon and spoke the wish in the divine language. Super Shenron changed his gaze and the wish was granted. Suddenly, every single fighter in the arena glowed with a silver aura. They had all briefly tapped into the power of Ultra Instinct. Goku smiled and asked them how it felt. Kakunsa stared at her hands and whispered that it felt absolutely incredible. The silver auras faded as everyone powered down. Goku told them that with enough training they would be able to master the form. He then invited everyone to come back to Universe 7 to throw a massive celebration party. Caulifla smiled and said that sounded like a great idea. The Grand Priest thanked all the universes for participating and officially concluded the second tournament of power. He waved his hand and teleported everyone directly to Universe 7. The celebration on Earth was massive. High above the city, Vegeta and Rosie engaged in a friendly sparring match. Vegeta complimented the girl and admitted she was a very skilled fighter. Rosie smiled and thanked the prince for the high praise. Down below, Bergamo chatted with Goten and Trunks. He asked if they were the brother and friend of Gohan. Goten confirmed their identities. Trunks expressed his amazement that the wolves were now potentially on the same level as his father and Goku. Nearby, Android 17 and Kakunsa traded blows in their own sparring match. At the buffet tables, Goku and Caulifla aggressively fought over the last pieces of meat. Gohan and Dispo tested their speed in a friendly race. Bulma cornered Piccolo and angrily demanded to know why they brought so many aliens from other universes to her house. Piccolo crossed his arms and said it was not his fault. He explained they just wanted to celebrate surviving an even bigger tournament. Jiren stood quietly in the garden. Toppo walked up to him and noted that Universe 7 had many wonderful things that their universe lacked. He admitted it would take a long time to understand all of it. Beerus watched the party from a balcony and proudly noted that the other universes seemed to really love their home. Broly sat quietly in a corner and happily ate a massive plate of food. Master Roshi finally got his long-awaited rematch against Ganos. Granola watched the sheer chaos and muttered that he still could not believe people from entirely different universes were hanging out on Earth. Goku stood on a table and raised his glass. He proudly declared that they had all proven their incredible skills in 2 massive multiversal tournaments. He extended an open invitation and told the fighters they were welcome to live in Universe 7 if they wanted to because they had plenty of room and great food. The entire crowd erupted into massive cheers. The kamikaze fireballs from Universe 2 took to the stage and began a synchronized dance routine. Kus watched the girls with pure joy and admitted this was exactly what she had been waiting for. Gauss looked at his angel in surprise. Kus simply smiled and nodded. Jiren found a quiet spot under a tree and began to meditate peacefully. Everyone at the party raised their voices and declared that together they were the most powerful warriors in existence. Bright fireworks exploded high in the night sky to mark the end of an incredible cosmic adventure. The grand celebration on Earth lasted well into the night. But peace in the multiverse never lasts forever. Somewhere deep in the darkest corners of the cosmos, an ancient evil felt the massive surge of Ultra Instinct energy caused by the wish. A sinister pair of glowing red eyes opened in the shadows. The terrifying threat Goku warned everyone about has finally awakened, and it is coming for them all. What happens next?